All right, I'm curious. Can I get a show of hands? Anyone who's seen a Tesla on the road in the past week? Don't be shy. That's right. So the interesting thing is, if you wind back 15 years ago, people said that electric cars wouldn't reach the masses. And you're probably wondering, why is this guy up here talking to me about electric cars and Tesla with an airplane on the slide? The reason is, there was one key breakthrough, the lithium-ion battery, that unlocked electric cars that could finally drive useful distances. And the exciting thing that I'm here to share with you today is that a similar thing has just happened in our industry. The ion pair fuel cell will unlock hydrogen electric aircraft that can fly useful distances. And we believe that the aircraft industry is ready to be disrupted. And this isn't just important for our industry, the aerospace industry, but it's important for everybody in this room. Raise your hand if you've flown in the past year. And don't worry, I'm not here to shame you. We're going to fix this problem, but yeah, so as you can see here in Australia, we rely on flying to connect with the world. It's essential to how we live. But I think people realize that flying contributes a significant portion of our carbon footprint as the world transitions to net zero by 2050. And I think some people might realize that right here in Australia, we've committed to a 43% reduction by 2030. That's 43% by 2030 in 6 years. That's literally tomorrow in the aerospace industry. I'm Bob Criner, the co-founder and CEO of Stralis, and I'm here to tell you about our company. So this interest in sustainability isn't new. As a kid growing up, I was passionate about this. I studied aerospace engineering right here in Sydney at UNSW, and I was lucky enough to travel the globe working in Europe and the US at companies like Boeing, Airbus, and Google X, where I certified and developed different aircraft that some of you might have flown on today. I really enjoyed this experience. It really shaped who I am today, but that wasn't home. I came back here to Australia, where I met my co-founder, Stuart, shout out over here, working on electric aircraft. And we both knew that we needed to start Stralis when we realized the same problem, that battery electric aircraft can't fly far enough. Trust us, we tried this twice. I'm not joking, right, Stu? It's hard, it doesn't work. And so the question is, why haven't we done more in this space? Basically, the technology hasn't been available, and it's been too expensive. So what we need to solve this is lighter, cleaner, cheaper solutions right now. And how do we do this? We build fuel cells today and aircraft tomorrow. Fuel cells that are lighter, cleaner, and cheaper. So let's unpack what lighter means. So if we bring back into the story this hero, the ion pair fuel cell, we're leveraging this technology to build a fuel cell that's 6 times lighter than any other fuel cell on the planet. And I can't emphasize how important a 6x weight improvement is for aircraft. In aircraft design, weight is everything, and reducing it allows us to fly these useful distances that we're talking about. So we have our patent-pending fuel cells in our lab being tested right now, and we will install them in our flight test aircraft next year and put them in the air. I'd like to bring into the story Bonnie, our flying aircraft, and Clyde, which is our ground test aircraft. Key members of the team who we love dearly. Yeah, so basically we've got this lightweight fuel cell. Now let's talk about how this is cleaner. So if we look at how we fly today, we dig up oil in the Middle East, we transport it to Singapore, where we refine it into jet fuel, and then we bring it down here into Australia, put it in an aircraft, and burn it in a turbine, leaving behind pollution in the atmosphere. If we scratch all of that and come back to Australia, where we have this abundance of solar power, and we use that right here in Australia to make hydrogen locally, put that in our aircraft, with the only byproduct being water, imagine how beautiful that would be. And this water that comes out of our aircraft is so clean, you can literally drink it. So we've got this lighter, cleaner solution, but it gets better. We also believe that it will be cheaper to operate. And there's 3 key things I want to talk about here. There's a really interesting fact that I think a lot of people forget. Each year in Australia, we spend $8 billion on jet fuel. And do you know where that money goes? It doesn't stay here. It goes overseas, right? And imagine if we took that $8 billion and put it into our economy, what that could create. It's pretty exciting, right? So another aspect I'd like to share is if you look at Tesla cars, the maintenance costs of those cars are significantly less than combustion engines. And the reason for that is that we're no longer burning fuel in a turbine, but we're running an electric system. And so we're predicting that we'll have 60% reduced maintenance costs on our aircraft, which is huge, right? That can unlock new routes that don't make sense today and improve operating profits. And the third thing this is probably my favorite, I just love that we're in Australia, and the International Renewable Energy Agency predicts that Australia will be one of the cheapest places to make hydrogen on the planet, which is huge, right? Let's lean into that. Let's take advantage of it. We could be a powerhouse in this industry if we just believe in it and really invest in it, back it. Right, so this all sounds great, right? Everybody's like, what about all these other things? Like, is he pulling us? One of the biggest things that we get asked is, can we actually make this in Australia? And I think this links back to what we've been talking about today. This festival is great. We love the narrative that Cicada is shifting, that we actually can make things here again, alongside things like the Future Made in Australia program, as well as the National Reconstruction Fund. And I think, we understand, right? These aircraft, they're complicated. The idea of making aircraft at scale here in Australia tomorrow may sound daunting, but making hydrogen fuel cells here today has precedent, and we're actually already doing it. So I want to give you 2 examples. One is a company called Hysata, and they're a rock star startup, right, making hydrogen electrolyzers. They've raised a massive round, a record-breaking clean tech round of $172 million, a Series B, which is huge to make electrolyzers in Wollongong. And a few months ago, I was actually in Gladstone, where Fortescue has their PIM-50 site. And they're actually manufacturing megawatt-class electrolyzers using the same robots that Tesla uses to make their cars. And this is like advanced state-of-the-art manufacturing in Queensland. This is stuff that we're already doing here today. So I think it can be done. And I think this conversation that we started here, my ask to you would be, when we leave here today, we start to shift that from can we make things here in Australia to we are doing it. I think a lot of people on stage today have said we just need to back it. We need to believe in it. We need more courageous founders starting companies trying to work on this. We need more investors backing this, not being scared of building things here. I know it takes a little bit longer than like a SaaS company, but the reward on the other side is a really vibrant, no offense to SaaS companies, like we love you too, but we're here to talk about deep tech, so I think everybody understands. So so I think just to wrap it up, I just wanted to bring it full circle back to this Tesla story, right? I think people said we can't make cars in California. I think we've proved them wrong. They're everywhere now. And I think some of you might be watching the Olympics in Paris. In 8 years' time, the Olympics will be in Brisbane, our hometown, where we're building these aircraft. And I think I just want to have people imagine that. Imagine it's like 8 years in the future. It's 2032. The world is watching Australia. Like, I remember the Sydney Olympics back in 2000, and it was an exciting moment for our country. And just imagine they're watching us fly people around Australia on aircraft made in Australia with fuel produced in Australia. I think that's the future that we're trying to build here at Stralis. And I think it's really exciting. So, and I guess the key message I want to leave with you is the way that we're going to do that is by making fuel cells today and aircraft tomorrow. Thank you very much. It's been a big day. Appreciate it.